Boys Live, presented by Pickett Sports, Sleeper Picks, Hall of Fame Bets. We got Brad, Josh, Brian, a bunch of baseball games. It's a little weird with, the rainouts, the makeup. So it's not the prettiest card, but we'll get into the card today. Futures, playoffs, World Series, do some NFL. Boys, what's going on?
Pretty excited about how yesterday went in baseball. I was a little nervous. Elder literally cruised through his walks. He had 4 of them. We needed 2 of them. After Green, because Green was what our first guy, my first prop, and his pitching outs was so bad. So I'm excited that I think I ended 4-2 or 4-1 or something like that.
Yeah, I like that. Will, to your point, I was at the Phillies game yesterday because I ended up betting on them earlier with the Anola PPD, and I decided to go to the game because why not? It was like a clinching game for their wild card, and as soon as it went to extras, I had that classic feeling of I don't think I ever want to bet in the extra innings, but they actually won. I think it might have been the first time all season I was able to watch an extra inning game go my way.
Yeah, I'm just on these Rangers and these Cubs, man. I know you probably want to talk about the Cubs for 1 sec, Will, because that was.
Don't bring that up.
Wow.
He's gonna start ranting. He
No,
has a
I don't
heart
care.
left.
No,
I
I'll
don't
cut him
care
off. We'll cut him off, but give us a good 30 seconds.
No, I mean, I don't care because I have the Reds to make it. I took a little Cubs before they played the Rockies on Friday. I took them plus 215 to make it. So,
Okay.
I prefer them. I bet Marlins to miss. So I have all sorts of different ways to go. Them making it or not making it doesn't make a huge difference to me. I just don't want the Marlins to make it. I'd like the Reds to make it, if anyone. Man, that's a tough one. That's a real tough one because you're up 6-0. Atlanta's creeping back in. Then you got a fly ball with 2 outs to get out of it and just drop it like that. And that just totally swings the odds too. That goes from they'd probably be minus 160 or minus 170 to make it. Now they're like plus 150 to make it. It's like, one game like that in July you can get over, but with 5 games to play, that one game, especially against the Braves, to be able to steal that one. That was a huge one, especially because Miami gets rained out. So now Miami has to play 2 today. It's hard to sweep doubleheader. So that might be the difference between making it and missing it. That's just a brutal loss for the Cubs.
Yeah, nothing makes me laugh more than our friend JD always has those tweets when anytime something like that happens. It's always a tweet with someone check his FanDuel account with those kind of plays where it's like he uses the same joke for every situation like that, but it never is not funny to me because it's just such a funny thing to see on your timeline.
Yeah,
that was a good save, dude, because he's been watching more streams lately, so I would be careful.
No, it cracks me up because it's just one of those things where that's such a routine play, and then like Will said, it changes the entire outcome of what we're expecting to see here.
They don't even have a Steve Bartman to blame this one on.
Yeah.
Before we get to games today, let's just look at that odds to make the playoffs because these are fun. These are interesting. You're not tying up your money forever now. The season ends Sunday. So Marlins are minus 150 to make it, plus 130 to miss. Reds are 6-1 at DraftKings to make it. No is minus 800. Diamondbacks with a come from behind win now, and the Cubs lose. Diamondbacks are minus 1400 to make it. So they're not in, but they're getting there.
Yeah.
And of course, look at the tiebreakers. They have a tiebreaker over the Cubs, so they're a couple wins away from just clinching this thing. Cubs plus 140 to make it, minus 165 to miss. Then if you want to get a little frisky, Toronto minus 3,000 to make it, 1,800 to miss, plus 1,800 to miss. And then the Mariners and the Astros are both coin flips, minus 130 each of them to make it. I don't know. Anything jump out to you from any of those?
Wait, the Astros are minus 130 to make it on DraftKings?
Astros minus 125, Mariners are minus 130. So shop around, but they're both about a coin flip.
Oh, man, I'm going to see if we can arb this.
What are you trying to arb?
I'm gonna figure it out right now. It's minus 160 to make the playoffs. Oh, no, you'd only make $1 on Astros.
It's a dollar is better than $1.
Whatever the max. I mean, the max would be fun. Like if you can max both of these equally.
What do you say? What do you suggest? I'm not following.
Jimmy Dean sound.
Oh, for anyone who's not following, it doesn't make sense if your limits aren't high enough, but you can make an entire buck on betting yes on one side, no on the other. For Astros.
Oh, okay. So on different books, you mean?
Yes.
I thought for a second you meant, hey, just take the Mariners at plus 110 to miss, pick the Astros at plus 105 to miss. One of them is probably going to miss, and then you make a few bucks again. Is that really worth it? I mean,
that's probably smarter. Strategy. That's probably smarter, but like financially smarter.
I mean, Toronto's not that far. Toronto would have to lose probably 4 out of 5, which I mean, I don't know. You're going to risk that much money to make that little where you
yeah.
Chance
that's why I was saying like at least the Astros one is straight up like
right. Right. Okay.
You're gonna
okay, I
make a
wasn't sure.
buck no matter
And you're
what.
saying what? One's at FanDuel, one's at DraftKings?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I don't know if you could get enough down to make it worth it.
Right. Right. I don't know. Anybody else? Anything jump out? Reds at 6-1's interesting. They won last night. That was a crazy game, but I turned that game on like the third or fourth inning. I think it was the third inning, man. It was like home run derby, home run after home run after home run.
It was wild.
6-1 to make it. I don't know. Is that enough? They're only a couple games out.
1.5 back of the Cubbies.
Cubs have the Braves. I think the Reds do have the tiebreaker too, which is massively important. Remember, they don't play these tiebreaker games anymore. So if you're tied, it's not like you play a game 163, which I used to love those. Those are fun. But now it's just whoever. I mean, there's a bunch of different tiebreakers, but so check those. But Cubs do, or the Reds do have a good tiebreaker situation here.
Yeah, I looked at the Reds. What number did you say? I looked at them at 5-1.
I got 6-1 at DraftKings.
Ooh, man.
Depends where your Reds tickets are. Like right now at a game.
No,
and a
pretend
half,
like like you got nothing.
Yeah, right now at a game and a half, having to playing the Bravos. Yeah, I don't know. 6-1, like 1.5 games. We got 6 left for them, 5 left for the D-backs and the Cubs.
I don't think they're
Four-
catching errors.
four
Oh,
games
no,
for the-
no, they have 4. They're
No,
at 81-77. Yeah.
Yeah, 4
They have
games.
even they have fewer
but they play the
games.
Guardians and the Cardinals versus the Braves. Like
Fewer chances.
You
doesn't matter.
probably got to go 3-1 or 4-0. Then just one of
Yeah.
these teams loses a couple games.
It's going to be a matter of how much the Braves could check out the final series, but we saw it last night. They just seem to invent ways to win, so who
Right.
knows?
And
Yeah.
I think the Braves clinched the 1 seed with one more win, or one might be 2, depending on how the Dodgers
Listen,
do.
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Cubs just absolutely suck. Like they play the Braves 2 more times and play the Brewers, and the Brewers have owned them this year.
Remember, you got to worry about the Marlins too. Marlins have the Mets
Oh,
for 2
yeah.
today, and you got the
Marlins.
Pirates.
Two games today is kind of
The Marlins
pretty
have
big.
been so funny. Marlins have literally been in the race the entire time, but I feel like
Yeah.
everyone just forgets they
And they
exist.
get
Everyone just waits
tired.
for them to fall out.
Yeah.
They're just hovering, dude. They're always just like hovering over your shoulder, just like we're still here, but like we're not really going
They
forward.
kind of creep up on you. They scare you from it's like
I think honestly, what's the best price on Cubs to miss the playoffs? I think that's honestly my favorite.
I'm looking at -165 at DraftKings again. You probably get a little better than that, but
So we're all I mean, then you got the Marlins no +124. They're still half a game back, right?
Yeah, I think, but like you have to imagine the Cubs are like the best team to fade, right? Because the Marlins play the Mets and the Pirates. Cincinnati plays the Guardians and the Cardinals. The Cubs have to play the freaking Braves and Brewers.
yeah. Brewers have everything wrapped up. I think the Mets
Yeah.
are going to play them hard tonight. I don't know. We don't have any lines on those because that's a doubleheader.
That's what the
starting
hard
at
thing is,
4.
like teams who've already clinched though, like because like
Right.
the Braves and the Brewers already clinched. Like how hard do they try? But
Yeah.
I don't think the Brewers are gonna suck though, because the Brewers are like aren't playing good baseball. Like like they're not gonna want to just keep sucking and then
Right.
suck their way in. They're on a 3-game losing streak right now.
If you had to make a bet here, what would be the bet in any of these? Mine would probably be Reds at 6-1.
Reds at 6-1. I
Yeah,
don't
I
want to
agree.
lay. I really don't want to lay -164.
Right.
Not like that, but that's probably the smartest
Is anyone tempted by the Jays at 18-1?
to miss.
Yeah. It's a problem because you got to get behind Houston and Seattle, and Houston and Seattle still play each other one more time. So it's like things have to break just perfectly, where Toronto would probably have to lose like 4 out of 5, and they do have Cole tonight. They face Garrett Cole, but then tomorrow they get the Yankees again. They get Tampa for 3, so be tempted by it. I don't know that it's quite enough. I'm tempted by it.
Tampa's been beating them up for this, right? Like I think they've got
Toronto. I think beat them 2 out of 3 last week.
The last okay, so it's closer.
Toronto beat us. We're only 5-5 in the last 10.
Yeah. All right.
And there's nothing there for me.
Anything you guys like today?
To your point, Will, about maybe checking out like with the clinch 1 seed or whatnot. I said earlier with Brad in the group chat. I did take Oviedo with Oviedo over 4.5. Yeah, I took him over 4.5 strikeouts. I just don't know. I mean, you saw the celebration yesterday by the Phillies with the wild card. Everyone's out at Xfinity Live after the game, all drinking. Clinched it last year when they clinched the wild card berth. The next day they rested a lot of guys. I mean, the Phillies are already a team that striked out a lot the last 30 days, like 24%. So if you get a watered down lineup, you get guys checked out a little bit. This just seems like almost a chalky letdown spot. But I just don't see how they come in super sharp and super 100% strength.
I would say look at Philly because it's a good angle. I would say look at Philly's team total under, but I think these books, like we always say, you hate when they put in like the right number. You hate when they don't make a mistake. Under 3.5, it's like,
It's the same thing with like I would have bet the Pirates today, but they're like plus 110. I mean, it's like if they were plus 140, if they were plus 140, plus 150, where they should be, like quote unquote, I'd probably have some action on that. But they kind of adjust it accordingly. So I went with the strikeout route.
Yeah.
Anything else for anyone?
Yeah, I was looking at Tyone as well. Against the Braves team, like there's a couple of different like conflicting things in terms of who the Braves are going to start. A couple of different sites I use are saying that they're going to start everybody back there.
Darius Vines, the great Darius Vines, who I've never fucking heard of.
Yeah. Tyone over 4.5 was plus 104.
What is that? K's?
Yeah.
What are you using? Roto Grinders or RotoWire?
To find that?
Yeah.
Well, it's on FanDuel. Or you're saying for the lineups?
For the lineup.
Yeah, RotoWire and lineups.com.
Yeah. I use them in Roto Grinders. I just didn't know if you had another one that you felt.
No, those were
Grinders is really nice.
What'd you say, Brian?
I say Roto Grinders is really nice with the lineups, with how they separate things. It's kind of a nice, aesthetically looking site.
Yeah. The great Darius Vines.
Yeah. I was going to say is also another strikeout bet I was looking at, and I actually was talking to Will beforehand. Unlike me, usually I hate parlaying certain things, but rather than laying minus 150 on 2 props, I did put half a unit on, was it Oviedo over 4.5, paired it with Abbott under 5.5. As much as the Guardians have been painful to watch certain parts this year, I mean, they have like a 16.5% strikeout rate against lefties the last 30 days. The one thing they can do well is put the ball in play, not necessarily doing a lot offensively by scoring runs, but at least they're not, whiffing a lot of the plates. I think 5.5 is a little too high there.
Orioles against Corbin, Grayson Rodriguez going. That would be one where I'd probably lay the 1.5. Maybe I'll add that. Orioles can clinch, right? Orioles haven't clinched yet.
Not yet. They can't clinch.
Is this are they one game away? Is this a potential clincher?
Yeah, I think this is their magic number.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how that factors in. Like, will they be excited? Will they be a little tight? Like, oh man, this is a young team with a chance to finally clinch the division. I don't know. They already clinched the playoffs, so I don't know. But I'd be tempted to lay the 1.5 there. We were talking.
Grayson Rodriguez is on the mound too.
Yes.
I think it's pretty solid there.
Yes. We were talking before. We like to look at these angles where there'll be bad weather, so you can parlay the pitcher strikeouts under. The only one we really found, Detroit, Kansas City. It's going to be bad weather. You were saying, Brad, in the middle of the game. You can play Scooble under K's, but Jonathan Bolin going for the Royals. He's either an opener or this is his first career start. So they don't have any props for him, at least at when I was
first career start. I ended up looking it up. First career big start. I don't know if he's going to be his opener as well. I did take Scooble pitching outs under 18.5 at minus 155. I thought it was a solid angle with the weather. And then like it's one of those that even if the game gets delayed and they play it later in the night, like it's still a solid angle.
Right.
Going 19 pitching outs, 6.1 innings is still pretty difficult no matter who you're playing.
Yeah. Anything else on baseball? Should we look at odds to win the World Series just because we haven't done this in a little bit?
Let's
do that. Get to some football. Maybe I don't know if you guys want to talk about Dame because that's starting to heat up. I feel like with training camp. Is training camp started or training camp soon? Man, the season starts way too soon. But
preseason starts soon.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I saw preseason hockey was on last night. It's like, man, these sports ended. You just ended. Like these seasons are way too long. But
so weird.
Let's see. DraftKings Braves plus 310. This is to win the World Series. Dodgers plus 425. Rangers 7-1. Orioles 7-1. Rays 10-1. Astros 13-1. Phillies 14-1. Blue Jays 16-1. Twins 18-1. Brewers 20-1. Seattle 22-1. Arizona 35-1. Marlins 45-1. Cubs 60-1. Reds 200-1. Padres. There's a bunch of zeros. I think that's 100,000. Who knows? Padres aren't winning it. Anything jump out to anybody? I will just say, like, the Braves are the best team, but they have quietly had some pitching injuries here. Freed's hurt. Morton's hurt. Like, if you're pitching Bryce Elder in a big game, good luck with that. I'd be very conservative. And the Dodgers too. Dodgers have lost a lot of pitching.
Have lost a lot of pitching, and their bats are so streaky. Like, and their bats scare me the most. And like, I'm already on the Braves at 41. I've been talking about this all season. but like I'm probably more terrified of if I were to have a Dodgers ticket because how streaky their bats are with the bad pitching. I would just like if I were to place a bet, like this sounds crazy, but like I don't hate the value on the Rangers at 8-1. Like I don't hate it.
Yeah. Where you see, I'm seeing 7-1 on DraftKings. Is there a better
FanDuel? Sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
FanDuel.
so FanDuel's got better numbers on all these, or just some of them?
Yeah. FanDuel has better numbers on Rangers. Rays a better number. I think the Astros was a better number too.
What do they have on those?
8, 12, 12.
Yeah, so that's significant. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's definitely significant. Anything jump out to you? So you said Rangers, Josh. Anything for you in these?
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, maybe I just buy back into the Astros again then at 13-1 because I got them at 7-1. So yeah, I don't. I guess yeah, the playoffs just keep shifting these odds for the World Series. It seems like this is where you take advantage of it if you think someone's going to make it in. If the Stros, I'm still good with at 13-1, but they're still minus money to make the playoffs.
I'm seeing 12-1 DraftKings, and then so that's the one where DraftKings does have a better number. 13-1 at DraftKings.
13-1 DraftKings, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not terrible. That's actually not bad. I don't know.
No,
Anything
not.
for you, Brian?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean,
Here's the thing, though. Here's the problem with the Astros. If you just do the math on it, they're a coin flip to get in. Then you got to win a best 2 out of 3.
That's the big.
Then
That's
you got to
the big
win
thing
a best out of 5. Then an ALCS, then a World Series. That's 5 steps there.
Yep.
So like maybe you're just better off. Hey, I'll play them yes to make the playoffs. I'll play them in the first round. I'll just do a money line rollover parlay or whatever.
That was what I was going to say too. We said yesterday. There's some of these teams are paying lower juice, and you might not even have a horse in the race by the time the playoffs start.
Especially if you can just play them yes to make the playoffs, and then you just get the ball rolling, and you have, maybe they'll be favored in some of these, but it's not like they're going to be monster favorites. So if you like the Astros, I would suggest just betting them yes to make the playoffs, and then just betting them every series and just keep rolling them over. I don't know. Any of these numbers jump out to you though, Bri?
I mean, if you can ignore the backdrop of the apartment right now, but I kind of like the 14-1 for the Phillies. I feel like if you saw it yesterday, if Aaron Nola can pitch like that at home, and you can stagger their starts where Ranger Suarez is so good on the road, and you can make it because in the playoffs you can kind of use your rotation to play to your player's strength. So if you have 2 players that are polar opposites on the road or at home, and you can get good outings from them, that offense is really fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't hate the Phillies. I considered it.
It's the one series I really want to see is Phillies Braves because they have the natural rivalry being in the same division. They played last year. Philly's the one team that can hit with them. You'll throw Wheeler and Noah so they can keep you in a game. That would be a fun series.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun last year. I think it'll be fun again this year.
Yep. And the way it's going now, it'll probably be Philly, Arizona in round 1. And remember, Gowan and Kelly have been much better at home than on the much better at home than on the road. It's probably going to be in Philly. It is going to be in Philly. So
yeah.
That's an advantage. That's a weird series. It's a fun series though, and then it's Milwaukee versus whoever gets the 6th seed. So the Cubs, the Marlins, maybe the Reds. So
we finally get juice on the Padres World Series.
Yeah,
it's 100-1. We've been waiting for it all season.
Oh, they're much more than 100-1. They're I think they're
1,000-1.
There's more 0-0 than I can count.
I bet them they've been 1,000-1 for a little bit now. I bet them at 1,000-1 when they weren't mathematically out of it.
Talk about maybe not having a horse in the race by the time the playoffs start. Yeah, take that number.
Yes. Well, I think their tragic number is 1, right? Where if they lose 1 game, they're out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they're 4.5 back.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably Toronto at 16-1. That team just leaves you feeling a little empty. Like last night, Yankees are sitting judged.
Yeah,
like it's a game you got you don't have to win, but there's just something missing with that Toronto team where. It's almost a little like the Chargers where like there's so much talent there. You get tempted by them, but there's just they find ways to just leave you feeling empty. I don't know, but 16-1 is not terrible for them.
Yeah.
Anything else on this?
No, I'm just gonna ride out my Braves.
I hate everything. Yeah.
I do like moneyline parlay series parlays over. Like if you just roll the money over.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that in like basketball.
What do you mean?
Series parlays, series outcomes. That's a lot easier in the NBA, obviously.
Why not?
No. I'm not talking about parlaying series. I'm talking about if you take someone to win the series and then you just take that money and then go to the next series because they're likely going to be a dog. If not,
I got you.
Like my bad. Then you just take the winnings and keep rolling it over.
Like a mechanical parlay. Yeah, I just think that probably when it's 5 steps like that, it probably pays better than 13-1. There is the human element of like man, you start to get that money in your account. Do you really roll it over? Do you chicken out a little bit? Do you start to bet other stuff? So it's like it's easy to sit here and say, hey, just bet it and roll it over, but some people don't follow through with that. Anything
Well,
else on baseball?
when you're talking about the like first bet is -125, right? You start with them to make the playoffs, let's say, is like your first thing, and you go from there series to series. I think you're a little bit more likely to feel comfortable taking the winnings from the -125 and just rolling it over.
Yeah,
Once you start getting into like, okay, now I'm getting 2, 3, 4 to 1 on my money and I'm rolling it over. Now at least you can also take a smaller fraction of what you just won and roll it over, right? So you still
right.
guarantee yourself some stuff. So, but the -125, you got to roll it over if you're going to play it like that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Anything NFL for you guys? I don't know. I forget what we talked about yesterday. Lions
Yeah.
Packers tomorrow. Lions are laying 1.5. Yeah, take it. What have
I
you
think it's
bet
a
so
pretty
far?
good game tomorrow. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a fun game.
we can talk about it a bit more tomorrow. I know. I think player props and stuff are like starting to come out right now a bit more. Yeah, we got some touchdown stuff at least, and then we'll start to get props. But like, yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple things you can play on. I don't know about the Packers, but like, I definitely am starting with Sam Laporta, who is the second best tight end in the league apparently. And I think you're still going to get some value on his receiving props if they're anywhere around like still like 35, 40 yards, I would imagine.
No, they're 43.5 is what
Okay,
it's
40
at.
yards, 43. All right.
Yeah.
I still like it over
No,
40. Yeah.
I like that. I was gonna say is I'm glad Josh mentioned that because I'm waiting for DraftKings to open up more same game parlay options because I would love to take say like 40 yards paired with like 4 catches. So they name me like almost like a same game parlay to get to 40 plus and 4 catches, something like that. If it's like
Yeah.
-110, because I think with Alexander returning tomorrow too, I think it's gonna be tougher for guys like St. Brown or Josh Reynolds. So I think that
Yeah.
Laporta would be a good look.
And
What
we
sides
got
have you guys bet so far? Anything?
I didn't bet
None
anything,
yet
but
for me.
I feel like I said it was it Monday. Is I feel like if it's a pick 'em, I feel like even on the road, I like the Lions.
yeah, and I kind of like the Packers with the points at home in the first Lambeau game.
It's tough. Lambeau's a tough place to play. I just
know,
think
Didn't they play in Lambeau the other day? They did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. They beat the they came back in that Saints game. That was a tough one to watch. But I do still like them with the points. I mean, you've got Christian Watson props, you've got Aaron Jones props. Like you said, Jair Alexander is back at practice. So I've liked this team a little bit more. I do, as I start to think about all these guys being back and how they're still coming in 2-1 like that, I do start to like them a little bit more for the division. We were talking about that yesterday. But then it's starting to look better and better. I don't believe in the Detroit team as much as maybe beating KC might indicate. So
Yeah, I think this is a good teaser leg with Green Bay. Tease it with the Ravens up to 8.5 against the Browns. Tease it with Seattle 7.5 against the Giants. I just think this is a toss-up game. I kind of get
It'll
the
be
feeling
close.
Detroit will beat them. I don't know. I would lean towards the Lions. Nothing I have a bet, but I think the Packers. I think I agree. I'd be surprised if anybody pulls away from anyone in this game. So
good
the
call.
7.5 on a teaser, I think, is a good bet. I gave it out last night. I don't see how Atlanta's 3.5-point dogs against the Jags. There's starting to be some threes pop up. I just think, look, the game's in London. Both these teams, there's no 8-8 teams anymore, but both these teams, to me, in my mind, are like 8-8 teams. Or they're both just sort of mid. Jacksonville's used to playing in London, but man, I don't see how they're 3 points better. This should be a low-scoring, close game.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like a huge Jags fan crowd. That's probably why.
Maybe
they probably give them a 1.5 for home field advantage. Maybe a half.
Seems like a lot. Okay, but I still don't know how you get to 3.5.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
half a
agree
point
there,
would probably
especially-
put them at 2. Yeah, I think they should probably be a 1.5-point favorite in this game.
That's what I thought it would be. I think these teams are dead even. You give the
Yeah.
Jags maybe a point and a half for the familiarity, the whatever home field, but 3.5, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, especially when you think about that. It's not a true quote unquote home field advantage. Like that's
Right.
almost like giving them 3 points for being home, which I get they have more familiarity, but it's
I
not
think,
really like a
but I do
true
think
home
it's.
field.
I think it's pretty. It's going to be pretty Jags heavy in there, just because.
Sure.
Of,
Yeah.
They go there
how
every year or whatever.
Yeah, those are the
Yeah.
fans that they kind of grew up with them.
Right.
With them.
Yeah, big a bunch of Keenan McCardle fans out there in London.
I just think that this is one of those lines where like the books are literally trying to tell us a story. Like their books are trying to tell us that the Jags are significantly better than Atlanta. It's one of those scary lines for me, like where I'm like, why? But I don't know if it's enough for me to get to the window on Atlanta.
Yeah, it's also Atlanta's one of those teams where they run the ball so often and they can
Shorten
almost
the game,
cover.
yeah.
They can almost cover a spread by just being so mid in terms
Right.
of by just like taking up all the time.
I agree. Not a fewer possessions. It's and 3 is not a ton. It's not like you're getting 10, but still, you'd like to be in a game with fewer possessions, not a lot of points. Be on the right side of getting the points there. Anything else jump out to you guys?
I started to go down the path yesterday. We were just doing initial reactions, and we were the game that we were talking about the Bills and Dolphins. I was like saying how I believe in the Bills more than most people, and then over the course of the last roughly 24 hours now, I looked at that game a little bit more deeply, and I'm like, oh wait, actually the Dolphins getting points in any scenario right now like this, 3 of them especially,
Full 3 too, yeah.
full 3 is like, I don't think Buffalo is going to be able to stay with. I mean, hot take. There's a lot of really fast dudes on the Miami offense. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to stay.
That
in
offense
front of
is
them like that.
crazy.
It's
That
gonna
offense
be
is
difficult.
wild.
This is going to be funny to watch because as good as a corner as Tre'Davious White is, I think he gets freaking
That's
demolished
what I'm
by
saying.
Tyreek Hill.
Do we think they have
Tyreek
Waddle
Hill
or
is
no?
unguardable. I don't know if there's a final call on him yet.
Yeah, I didn't see his status.
But that was my main point, was when I started looking at like the defensive secondary for the Bills should actually be the strength of its defense this season as opposed to how it's been. And they're getting torched, and Miami's defense is actually a lot more for real than I think we've been giving it credit for, because we saw it give up so many passing yards last season, and really just yards in general, that I do think there's some legitimacy to them being able to like hang with Buffalo's offense more than the inverse of that.
Under still looks a little low, 53.5. I think it'll be warm. I don't think the weather's an issue. It's supposed to be like 70 degrees. I think Buffalo moved the ball. I think they'll both move the ball.
Yeah.
That's good, man. I know that's a high total, but I don't know, 30-27, somebody 30-24.
Did you bet on that
70
that
by
Vikings
one
total?
team? Like,
Right. What'd you say, Josh?
Did you bet on the Vikings total? Because that
No.
one dicked a lot of people.
Got away.
52. Yeah.
That's just one
Yeah.
where like you got to be.
Looks like
sensitive
Waddle
to
is going to
the
be
number.
playing.
Oh, you think so? What's the latest?
This was from Marcel Luis Jackass from ESPN, says that he's on track to play.
Oh, good.
it was concussion protocol too, which was one of his things.
He was
too.
on track to play last Friday, but couldn't clear protocol, so they think that he's going to play.
Yeah, it's one of those things too, where not to lessen concussions, and I've had them in the past, but it's one of those things where I usually assume if you miss one game of concussion, more often than not, you can clear the protocol by the next week. Like, I feel like usually that 2 weeks is a sweet spot to make sure you're back on the field.
Fucking Dr. Brian over here.
Well, I mean, Tua somehow was cleared after 6 days, so maybe they're just being more cautious over there.
Who else is in concussion? Oh, was it Jimmy G's in concussion protocol too? And that would be Hoyer if he can't go. So keep that in mind. That's that's a lot of points for the Chargers to lay, but it's not a lot of points if it's Hoyer.
Yeah, and to go with your point, Will, about how good White is, I know Brad was saying might get cooked. He could play the best defense of his life, and on the other side of the field, there's still a Jalen Waddle that's going to be a one-on-one coverage. So
plus
it's
now
really
they're running it, and they're running. Yeah. That kid, Akane. How do you pronounce it, Brad? Akane, the kid from A&M?
No, a Chan or
Chan.
A Chan is it a Chan?
Yeah, yes. Devin A. Chain.
No, because it's not Chain anymore. It's A Chan. That's what it is. A Chan.
He said this whole thing about like it's pronounced one way, then people pronounce it another way, and he just lets them pronounce it that way. And like ever since he said that, I have no idea how to pronounce it.
It's A Chan. Yeah, that's the official pronunciation.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He said it. He said in an interview he's the fastest. He said in an interview he's the fastest guy on the team.
Which is hilarious. Which is hilarious to say. Like Raheem Mostert would probably be the fastest dude on like 75% of teams, and he's like their third or fourth fastest.
Or I don't know, Tyreek Hill.
Well, I think he's just the fastest dude, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, you guys? Anyone care about Dame?
I'm putting money on the Dolphins. No, I'm putting money on the Dolphins, but I am
Taking
here for a brief bit of Dame talk if we're allowed it.
Yeah, I mean, where do you guys think this stands? I can't believe, like we were talking before. I think like NHL preseason was on last night. We're a couple away from NBA preseason. These winter sports just come back way too soon. Let us enjoy the baseball playoffs, football. Like we don't need you for a little bit here. I don't know, but I don't know. It sounds like something's going to happen soon. Like right now, where do you guys think this stands? What do you think ultimately happens?
I think he goes to Miami. I think Miami's all smoke and mirrors with all this talk. We're not giving them all this, and I think that Portland's going to be like, yeah, you're right. We'll take X, Y, and Z. I'm not buying the talks of the Raptors.
Me neither. Doesn't make sense.
Magic. What was the other one? There was another one that popped up. I can't remember, but yeah.
Boston.
Boston, stop. Boston's silly.
Why?
What are they going to trade?
They got like 4 first rounders.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they want a player like.
I don't know. Do they?
Yeah. That's why it's like Miami was like, we got Hero.
What player are they? I mean, they don't.
Somebody that's not
Hero.
the same type of player. Like Hero is the same dude that they already have 4 times over. So
I think they would. I think if you gave them enough assets, I think they just want assets. I don't know that they need a player. I don't know that Boston would do. I don't know if those picks are enough because like you're going to be good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if 4 first rounders is enough, but it's at least to get you in the conversation. I know there's some tax issues too, where Boston, like they're paying Jaylen Brown a lot of money, Tatum a lot of money, Dame makes a lot, so it's and Porzingis makes a lot of money too. So I don't know. Like I can't rule out Boston, but I'm not sure.
If they actually make that trade, they'd end up just being a more annoying version of the Suns, where they just like can't afford a team, but at the same time, it's like a discount version of what the Suns are trying to do.
Right. Marvin, what's up, man?
What up, Marvin? Welcome.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Where do you guys think he goes?
Miami.
I'm with you. I think Miami.
How come I don't have this? Does anybody have the on like DraftKings? There's an off-season tab where you can bet on off-season things in the NBA. And one of the ones that I bet on, and I don't know if it's still there, is that Buddy, because there was Buddy Hield trade talk too, but it sounds like he's staying in Indiana. And for him to stay in Indiana, I hit at plus 650. This was 2 days ago. I don't know if it's still there, but all the talks since I even hit it have only said that he's going to likely stay in Indiana at this point.
Where do you think Dame goes?
So if you want free money, Buddy Hield's going to be in Indiana if that market's up.
I don't think it is.
I don't think you should rule out Toronto as much as you're dismissing it is my only thing. It's just, I mean, Masai Ujiri is going to have to make a decision that he do something that he hasn't done at some point soon, which is either get rid of players for picks or, make I guess the other thing he has done, which is make a pretty big swap, except for this time, he's not going to have to give up DeMar DeRozan or whatever. He's going to.
They stole Kawhi last time, and that was the easiest trade to ever make in history. That's
obviously
the dumbest trade by the Spurs.
That was easy. So that's what I'm saying. That's the only time he's done something like that. Maybe he does it again for Dame. That it wouldn't be out of the realm possibility. I wouldn't say no. If I had a ticket on Toronto as like a nice sized dog at like 35-1 for Dame to end up there, I would.
It wouldn't be 35-1 if he's one of the teams rumored. Forget the odds. Where do you think he goes? Like right now, where do you think he goes?
He starts the season in Portland.
No, when he gets traded though.
When he gets traded. Where he starts the season. I really want to say Miami, but I feel like it would have been done. I don't know what's different now.
Yeah.
Time. So I don't think there's a legit suitor yet. And that's the thing, is I don't think anybody wants to give them what they want. You've said it more than anybody will, which is like nobody fucking wants you. Like same thing with Harden.
Yeah, I just think Miami's got a shitty offer, but it's probably the best offer. At least it's enough. It's a bunch of picks. It's whatever young players. It's that kid Jovic and whatever, the kid Jacquez from UCLA. At least, I mean, what you're comparing it to what other offers though? It's like at some point just keep him. Yeah, I don't think keep him. Keep him doesn't make any sense. I don't think. I'd rather just.
I hope he's happy with how much time people waste talking about this stuff for the last 3 months and the last 12 years.
It always just feels like, oh, here we go again, another day of them posting.
Right. Yeah. Right. What do you think, Brian? Where's he end up?
I kind of agree a little bit with Miami, just because not necessarily it makes most sense. I just think after a while, if you get enough bad offers, it's just a matter of picking what bad offer you want to take, and it's clear that he wants one of them. So maybe there is some legitimacy to respect my wishes. I've been here for the last however many years, and maybe they'll cave into that.
I still think it's just the best package, even though it's not a great package. It's like, what is Toronto giving you? Why does Toronto want to do that? They're not an all-in team. They're not winning the championship or anything. I don't know. Can Philly get in the mix here or no? Philly's got their own issues.
Philly's got so much issues. It's not even funny. Man. I mean, we solved the James Harden debacle by signing Kelly Oubre, my least favorite player to watch. I'm just going to be like a neutral Philly fan this year watching the Sixers.
Yeah,
they should be the ones going for Dame.
They should 100% be doing that.
They should, without question, be the ones going for Dame. James Harden. The problem is they have to get rid of James Harden first, and
if they can find a way for a 3-team trade with the Clippers, I'm all for it. But I don't know if I see that ever happening.
So what would it be? Maxey and picks
for Dame? Yeah, 100%. Like I think Maxey, as much as you might love him, like his ceiling is 2 years away, 3 years away in terms of like what I think he's like. If he's gonna reach like bottom level superstar, that's not enough. That's too much time for Joel. Like Joel doesn't have 4 years for him to be his best. He has like 3 years to be this version of Joel.
Joel's window has been scattered with like Ben Simmons and James Harden, and it's been a really rough window to watch.
This article I pulled up, I don't know whose odds he's citing. I'm guessing offshore. It says Lillard, the team he plays for next, Heat minus 300, Blazers plus 350, Raptors plus 600, Clippers 10-1, Sixers 12-1, Nets 14-1, Celtics 15-1. Probably just goes to Miami. They probably just give in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does Miami win the NBA championship by adding him?
No, not necessarily. Are they even the favorites in the East by adding him?
And that was that was next team for him to play for. So start the season. Yeah. So I think, and Portland's on there behind Miami.
Portland is on there behind Miami at plus 350.
And great, whatever. Like I don't think enough has changed in the offseason. Like nothing changes from now until the season starts. So I don't know why that would be now.
I just don't think Portland's like in a hurry to do it, which is why, hey, if they did it in a week from now, I'd be like, oh, what took you so long? I was like, we just wanted to wait for our offer. We have no motivation to trade him early. And honestly, the more we wait, the more it hurts Miami and the better the picks we give. Because if we wait till the trade deadline or something and then give them to Miami, then it's like we're getting, in theory, a better pick for him. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Pat Riley's going to reach at all at this point.
But they lost Strus. They lost who else? They lost who's the other guard? They lost Dave Vincent. It's like that's not a great team. That wasn't a great team last year. They just got high. Still, man, they were in my fucking pocket. I'll tell you that much. They they cost me some money till I finally got them back. But
damn,
I don't know, boys. This was fun. We'll be back.
Let me get my sleeper.
Oh, sleeper, go for it.
Yeah, sleeper picks. College football lines are coming out. I imagine one of them is going to absolutely go up, and that is Jack Plummer over 247 passing yards. I think he's going to probably settle around 255 against North Carolina State. He's just been balling. Him with Jeff Brom just looks like, man, a match made in heaven. Threw for 388 last week. He doesn't have a super high hit rate at this. He's only averaging 248 pass yards per game, which is why they said it there. But the games where he's missed were games where he doesn't play in the fourth quarter. And it's a 3-point spread. Even though I think Louisville wins this game, I'll probably bet on Louisville money line and just take the juice there. I just don't think North Carolina State's going to get blown out at home on a Friday night. So we should have a competitive game. And then the reason why I also think that is Brennan Armstrong. He should have some time. He's been, he hasn't had time in the pocket. But Louisville's only averages like 2 sacks per game, not a super high pressure rate. The other one, speaking of pressure rate, is Hudson Card over 10.5 rush yards. Every single quarterback has hit this against Illinois so far this season. Card has hit it in every game but one. The one game he didn't hit it against, obviously, was Penn State, who gets a ton of pressure on the quarterback. It's scary to take rushing yards for a quarterback either way, but Illinois, it's like 120th in pressure rate in college football, only averaging averaging a sole 1 sack per contest. $50 wins $159.
All right, boys, fun show. We'll be back. You guys will be back tomorrow, 1 Eastern. I am off. We'll be back Friday. So enjoy the games. Pennant race baseball. This is a fun time of year. Pennant race baseball, college football, NFL. So see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Thank you to Pickett, Hall of Fame bets, sleeper picks. Enjoy the games. Good luck on all your plays. See you guys tomorrow.